Call tonight's council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Council members Anderson.
Here.
Benega.
Here.
Brown.
Here.
Costello.
Here.
Jameson.
Here.
Knutson. Litz.
Here.
Staggers.
Present.
We have a quorum present tonight, so tonight will be led in the invocation by Pastor Jim Hogeveen from the Heartland Community Church in Sioux Falls. After the invocation, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, so I'd ask everyone to please rise.
Let us pray. O Lord God Almighty, we come to you for wisdom. Show us your way for us. By your grace, help us to see through the confusion of the present time and glimpse the future you have for us. Help us to head in the right direction. O Lord, guide us. Wisdom alone will not automatically make our plans easy to adopt or implement. Inevitably, wise planning will require us to act before we have all the answers. For some of us, that will be hard to do. The comfort and security of the present that we worked so hard to create will tempt us. Carry us forward, God. Bless these leaders with wisdom as they make choices regarding the finances of this city. As the budgeted money is always limited, we pray that you will make it enough for the work that needs to be done. Lord God, bless our mayor and these city leaders. Help them use the planning process to bring this city to a wonderful future. Help them in their planning as our city welcomes people from many different nations and language groups. Help them to move fast enough and wisely enough to reach the best future in time for it to matter. Oh God, give them your guiding light. God of our future, show us your way. Bless all our research and planning, our hopes and dreams, our extra work and sacrifices, our prayers and our sincere motives to produce a great result. Enable us to succeed. Oh God, help us to choose our words wisely. There are so many words for every event, every dream, every meeting, every relationship, every plan, and especially every change. Our ideas need just the right words to bring our inner reality to life and make our external reality comprehensible for us. Good words clarify, strengthen, and encourage us. The wrong words confuse us and leave us weakened and discouraged. Oh Lord, give each of us the good words and the good listening we need in order to be a great city council. We pray this in the name of Jesus our Lord. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to invite Karen Nash Claycomb and Kadira Ware, Danette Sauer, Larry Hoover, and Linda Hagedorn, and Charity Small. Are they all here tonight? Some. Well, just hey, we got the main characters here for this tonight. This is character counts, and so the proclamation reads: whereas the Sioux Empire Character Counts Coalition celebrates its 13th anniversary of incorporation and service to the children of Sioux Falls on November 1st, 2009. And whereas children are 27% of our population, but 100% of our future. Whereas the mission of the Sioux Empire Character Counts Coalition is to build a community of character by partnering with schools, local organizations, and parents to teach values and ethics to our young people. Whereas character education offered by the Sioux Empire Character Counts is based on the 6 pillars of character: trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship, values that are important for our children to embrace. Whereas studies show that children trained with the 6 pillars of character show demonstrable, more ethical, and honorable behaviors in school and in their community. Whereas thousands of children in Sioux Falls and the surrounding communities learn about the character and values through character counts and through education in the public and private schools, gaining the tools to become ethical adults who are essential to their communities. Whereas October 18th through October 24th, 2009 is National Character Counts Week. Now therefore, I, Dave Munson, Mayor of the City of Sioux Falls, do hereby proclaim October 18th through October 24th, 2009, as Sioux Empire Character Counts Week in Sioux Falls. And congratulations. Thank you for what you do. Okay, to start it, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I so move Knutson.
Knutson moves, is there a second?
Second, Jameson.
Jamison seconds. Further comments, further motions? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the consent agenda, vote yes, those opposed, no.
Councilmembers Anderson.
Yes.
Benega.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Knutson.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
All members present have voted. The consent agenda has been approved 8-0. Is there a motion to approve the regular agenda?
So move Anderson.
Anderson moves, is there a second?
Second, Litz.
Litz seconds. Further motions? I see none, so all in favor of approving the regular agenda, vote yes, those opposed, no.
Councilmembers Anderson.
Yes.
Benega.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Knutson.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Regular agenda has been approved 8-0. This is a time we set aside a period of 5 minutes. Anyone wishing to address the council, if at public input, we just ask them to come forward and give their name. So at this time, anyone wishing to address the council, come forward and give your name for the public input. I see no one that's coming forward, so we will move into the regular agenda and start with item number 2.
Item number 2 is the transfer of a 2009 retail liquor license from Rod Wofold, name to be determined 3100, 3108, 3110 West 12th Street, to Dakota Billiards Incorporated, Biggs Sports Bar and Casino, to be operated at 3108, 3110 West 12th Street, including Sunday sales and video lottery terminals, with the conditional use permit 2009-0802 being approved on September 2nd, 2009, pending final inspections per fire and building services. Item 3 is a transfer of a 2009 retail liquor license from Woo's Landing Incorporated, Falls Landing, 200 East 8th Street, to Falls Landing Incorporated, Falls Landing, to be operated at 200 East 8th Street, including Sunday sales and video lottery terminals. Conditional use permit not required. This license predates the ordinance, pending corrections per fire. Item 4 is a transfer of a 2009-2010 retail malt beverage license from the New China Star Incorporated, China Star, 1721 West 41st Street, to Sioux Falls China Star Incorporated, Sioux Falls China Star, to be operated at 1721 West 41st Street, with the conditional use permit 981114 being approved on January 19, 1999. Item 5 is a transfer of a 2009 retail wine license from the New China Star Incorporated, China Star, 1721 West 41st Street, to Sioux Falls China Star Incorporated, Sioux Falls China Star, to be operated at 1721 West 41st Street, with the conditional use permit 981114 being approved on January 19, 1999. Item 6 is a transfer of a 2009 package liquor license from Emmanuel Lieben and Leanne Biener, Abyssinia, 29 South Blauvelt Avenue, to Emmanuel Lieben and Leanne Biener, Abyssinia, to be operated at 1403 West 12th Street, pending final inspection per fire. Item 7 is a special one-day liquor license for SMG to be operated at the Sioux Falls Arena, 1201 Northwest Avenue, on December 31st, 2009, for the New Year's Eve Gala. Item 8 is a special one-day liquor license request for Hy-Vee Incorporated, all occasions by Hy-Vee, to be operated at the Delbridge Museum of Natural History, 805 South Kiwanis Avenue, on November 13th and 14th, 2009, for a holiday party and fundraiser, and to rescind the license as previously issued for September 26th and October 3rd, 2009. Item 9 is a special one-day liquor license request for Washington Pavilion Management Incorporated, Washington Pavilion of Arts and Science, 301 South Main Avenue, for November 7th, 2009, and August 21st and 28th, 2010, for wedding receptions. Item 10 was withdrawn by the applicant, but it's a special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine license for downtown Sioux Falls to be operated at 431 North Phillips Avenue on October 31st, 2009, for Halloween event. Do you want me to do the last two? Or
Yeah,
should
let's
we-
do them all, then we'll just take them.
Okay. Item 11 is a special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine licenses for Avera McKinnon Foundation to be held at 196 East 6th Street, Suite 100, on October 23rd, 2009, for the Paint the Night Pink fundraiser. Item 12 is a special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine license for Senior Citizen Services Incorporated to be operated at the Center for Active Generations, 2300 West 46th Street, on April 18, 2010, for the Gourmet Guys fundraiser. Item 13 is to amend the special one-day wine license for Xi Alpha Lambda to be operated at the Center for Active Generations, 2300 West 46th Street, on April 10, 2010, for a sorority event approved on September 21, 2009, changing the date of the event to April 22, 2010.
Thank you,
Okay,
Tamara. Lori Hodstad with the City Attorney's Office, here for items 2 through 13, and I can answer questions on any of these items.
Any questions of Lori on items 2 through 13? If not, what I'd like to do, if we could, is to take items 2 through 11, knowing that item 10 has been withdrawn, and take those at one time, and we will excuse Councilmember Benninga, or we'll excuse him from 12 and 13. He will be here for the first part of it, then we will excuse him. So if that's okay to take those first, would somebody make the motion?
Move to approve.
Costello moves. Is there a second?
Second, Anderson.
Anderson seconds. So we are taking the 2 through 11. And any further comments? Not all in favor of the motion to approve 2 through 11 with 10 withdrawn, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilmember Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
All members present voted. Items 2 through 11 with 10 withdrawn has been approved 8-0. Now we will, Councilmember Benega will be excused from 12 and 13.
I move to approve items number 12 and 13, Knutson.
Knutson moves. Is there a second?
Second, Anderson.
Anderson seconds. Further comments on the motion to approve 12 and 13? Seeing none, all in favor? Vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilmembers Anderson?
Yes.
Benega? I'm sorry. Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
All members present voted 7 yes, 1 excused. Items 12 and 13 have been approved. Item number 14.
Item 14 is a first reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at North Cliff Avenue adjacent to 1009 West Amadon Street from the unzoned district to the I-1 Light Industrial District, petition number 2009-0713, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
Good evening, Mike Cooper, Planning and Building Services. This property is just under 2 acres. It has been vacated by action of the City Council. It was right-of-way, and now we're rezoning it for future light industrial development, and the city would intend to eventually sell off this property.
Questions of Mike on item number 14? Let's go to 15.
Item 15 is a first reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property north of 200 East 8th Street from the unzoned district to the RC Recreation Conservation District, petition number 2009-0915, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
We have 3 items tonight that will involve the section of downtown vacated railroad right-of-way. When that railroad right-of-way is vacated, the property remains unzoned, and so now we're coming back to correct that. This first item is a small section that's on the east bank of the Big Sioux River, and it's adjacent to the Sharapa Place office building, and we're zoning it for recreation conservation.
Questions of Mike on item 15, Kermit?
Yes, Mike, the information we have says that we acquired this property this year in 2009. When did that happen, and how did we acquire it? Did we get it directly from the railroad? Did we pay for it, or what?
I'll get you that information. Yes, we did acquire it from the railroad, and I'll get the details of what we paid for it. I don't have that by
Okay.
memory tonight, but I'll get that for you before second reading.
Did we get this at the beginning of the year, middle of the year, or do you remember?
I don't remember the exact timeline,
Oh, okay.
Counselor, but
Okay.
we'll find out.
Okay.
Further questions of 15? Let's go to 16.
Item 16 is a first reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property between 201 and 203 East 6th Street from the unzoned district to Subarea A of the Raven Industries Planned Development District, petition number 2009-0916, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is a section of vacated railroad right-of-way that extends from the west bank of the Big Sioux River up to 6th Street, and this is now developed as part of the Raven Industries parking lot, along with a public use pedestrian and bicycle access through that area.
Questions of Mike on 16? Go ahead.
Yes, Mike. On this here, it says the owner, of course, is Raven Industries, but we have down the city applying for this change. Why isn't Raven Industry doing that?
We're doing it because we conveyed it to Raven Industries and indicated that we would pursue this rezoning at the time it was appropriate.
And so there was a quid pro quo. In other words, we give them this land, and in return, they're going to help work on the greenway. Is that right?
Yeah, in exchange for this property, they agreed, and they have constructed the walkway, and they'll be maintaining it at no cost to the city.
Do we have any idea the appraised value of the land we gave to them?
Again, I can get that information for second reading,
Okay.
or prior to second reading.
Okay.
Further questions on 16? Let's go 17.
17 is a first reading and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property south of 230 East 8th Street from the unzoned district to the C3 Central Business District, petition number 2009-0917, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is the third piece of the railroad right-of-way that we're rezoning, and this portion extends from the east side of the Big Sioux River down to 8th Street. And again, we will get you information on the value of this property and the time that it was conveyed.
Questions? Go ahead.
And also, Mike, can you give us the part of the agreement that we had with Sharapa Place for when, that we would transfer this to them? I
Yes.
guess I just didn't remember that.
We'll get that
part.
information.
Okay.
Further questions? Let's go to 18.
18 is a first reading and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, a major amendment, petition number 2009-0902 to Chapter 15.45.070 Plan Development Districts at East 34th Street North and North Potsdam Avenue, amending Merle and Roy's Plan Development District sub-area regulation. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
Merle and Roy's development is located on the west side of Interstate 229 and south of Benson Road. It's been in place for some time. Recently, the property owners have been approached by potential office developers, and in going back and looking at the land uses, for whatever reason, we did not include offices originally, and so the city staff again have agreed to take this petition forward on behalf of the property owners to add offices as a permissive use.
Questions of Mike on 18? Let's go 19.
Item 19 is a first reading and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, a major amendment, petition number 2009-0914 to Chapter 15.45.070 Plan Development Districts at Southwestern Avenue and West 85th Street, amending Heather Ridge 2 Plan Development District sub-area regulation. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
The petitioner in this item is Morgan Colbert, representing Lifestyle Builders. This area is approximately 10 acres of land, and the current zoning that allows for townhomes requires a 10-foot side yard setback. The developers are now requesting this change in zone, which would allow them to go to a 7-foot side yard requirement, which is actually consistent with other areas that we have allowed townhome development. And these would be 4-unit buildings.
Questions of Mike on item number 19? Let's go 20.
Item 20 is a first reading and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, a major amendment, petition number 2009-0912 to Chapter 15.45.070 Plan Development Districts at South Theodore Avenue and West 41st Street, amending 41st Street and Sertoma Avenue Plan Development District sub-area regulation. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This petitioner is Stencil Corporation. It's about a 3-acre tract of land. On the north side is low-density residential, and then we have commercial development to the south. In this particular example or situation, the zoning allows commercial development, and the applicant is proposing to construct a 3-story, 65-unit apartment building with garages. The initial staff recommendation was to deny this request because we were not sure what the reading of the neighborhood was going to be. Subsequent to that staff report and prior to the Planning Commission meeting, a neighborhood meeting was held by the petitioner, and there was very positive feedback from the neighborhood that with this layout, they actually preferred the apartments as opposed to future commercial development on the site. So the Planning Commission has made a recommendation to approve this change to allow the multifamily development.
Questions of Mike on item number 20? 21.
Item 21 is a first reading and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, a major amendment, petition number 2009-0918 to Chapter 15.45.070 Plan Development Districts at 4100 West Valhalla Boulevard, amending the Valhalla Plan Development District Subarea Regulation. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is a petition by Verizon Wireless to allow the future construction of a telecommunication tower that is proposed to be approximately 75 feet in height. And the location that they've selected is south of 49th Street, adjacent to existing multifamily residential and garages. And this strategic location that they want to place it in is not addressed under the current land uses as part of the Valhalla Plan Development District. So the request is to add this as an allowable use within the area.
Questions, Mike? Greg?
Mike, are they going to put a flag on this? Is this one of those same?
We're going to be looking at this as a final development plan, so we'll be able to get more detail as far as the specific design to make it stealth design.
Further questions of Mike on item number 21? Not, is there a motion to set the hearing date for items 14 through 21 for November 2nd?
I so move. Knutson.
Knutson moves and
Second, Brown.
Brown seconds. Motion been made and seconded to set the hearing date for November 2nd for items 14 through 21. All in favor of that motion will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilmembers Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
That motion prevails. Item 14 through 21, the hearing date has been set for November 2nd, 8-0. Item 22.
Item 22 is a resolution amending Resolution 13208, which authorized the commencement of condemnation proceedings for acquisition of a certain parcel of land for public use.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Mark Cotter with the Office of Public Works. Tonight we bring you this amended resolution that addresses two things: the location of the easement for the sanitary sewer and also the method of installation. Previously, and I did hand out just to have a desktop, two exhibits. The top exhibit is the original exhibit that was a part of the original resolution that had the permanent easement as laid out. Since that time, we've worked with the property owner. We've been able to gain access, conduct field surveys, perform soil borings, and now have also offered a less disruptive method of installation, which is instead of open cut, which is the traditional method to install sanitary sewer, we've explored option to do a horizontal bore all across this property and to allow the trees that are in place to remain in place. And so we would bring you this revised resolution tonight to address those items. The original resolution had a compensation of $11,300. This has a new method, also a new exhibit, and also has a new fair market value of $2,200. And I also have our counsel here, Dick Gregerson, if you have any questions.
Questions of Mark on item? Go ahead, Vern.
Mark, what's the cost difference between the traditional method and the horizontal boring?
It is about it's in a range of about $35,000 to $40,000.
Difference.
It's an increased cost to horizontal bore.
Further questions? Go ahead.
Yes. So what we're doing here, Mark, is amending a condemnation proceeding. Now, at this time, are we still in the process of going through condemnation, or are we come up with an agreement?
We're still in the process, obviously, just like we were last summer when this original resolution went through. We've always been open to continue to discuss, but I think at this point, to make sure that the resolution is accurate and with what we believe is in the best interest of the city and the property owner, we wanted to make these corrections.
So, once again, it's possible, we don't know for sure, but it's possible we could still condemn this then.
It's possible.
Other questions? Go ahead, Dean.
Director Cotter, so do we think that this new method will be as effective? I realize it's much, much, much less expensive. Will it be as effective as far as working once the sanitary sewer is complete?
It is effective, but it's actually more expensive. It's a more specialized form of installation where we will, the traditional method is to use a backhoe and excavate material and lay piece by piece, and this will be almost just short of a 600-foot horizontal directional bore that will be done outside the property limits.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Mark, fair market value at $2,200, we're going to give this property owner if they agree. Has the property owner said whether $2,200 is okay, or does he reject it? Or I guess what I'm asking is $2,200 to go drilling under a person's property is not very much money, from their perspective, that is.
Well, we have conducted an appraisal, and that's been the basis of the appraisal, based on the new method of installation.
So,
And the proceedings and negotiations have, we've contained those through our council.
So, if we pass this amendment, fair market value at $2,200, does this resolution then say we have to pay $2,200? Or, in other words, do we have flexibility for our lawyer to deal with this?
What, you have flexibility for what?
For the price that we would pay the owner?
Well, I'd say that in any case, the case hasn't even been started, I don't think, has it, Mr. Gregerson? It hasn't been filed. So you could still negotiate like you do in any case. I mean, that is, you have to have an appraisal to start as your kickoff point, and that's what this does. And if they can show things that would convince you that there are different factors you've overlooked or something else, you would certainly look at that and could make an offer appropriately, I think, Dick, couldn't you? I don't mean to. You have any thoughts on that? Thank you. So this just authorizes the commencement, and no agreement has been reached yet.
And then also, the last time we dealt with this issue, I inquired as to the cost of legal counsel on this. What is the cost of our legal counsel on this so far?
I don't have that with me tonight, but I can certainly provide that to you.
Dick is here.
It's by the hour,
Yes.
and we negotiate that with them.
So
And that was done before I got here, and I don't find it excessive.
how much is it?
180 to 200, somewhere in that figure, which is, you know, as I sat on a court and I approved some fees, I thought, what a good deal my clients got, because times have changed quite a bit. And I don't find that excessive at all. And it was negotiated in good faith.
That's right.
And you look at the quality of work you get. And Mr. Gregerson has a reputation for knowing condemnation. I think that's why he was brought on before I got here, because I knew I didn't. Okay?
Further questions? Others that wish to address the, okay, Craig, excuse me.
Mark, how deep is this pipe going to be when it's bored underneath the ground?
It varies, but 12 to 14 feet deep.
If he wanted to subdivide his land off, this easement would not allow him to do that, but he doesn't have to pay any cost if he hooks up to the sewer unless he hooks up, or did you guys negotiate a deal to give him a free hookup?
We've had different discussions, but one of the first things we always do to try to get the most served acres is to locate this in the lowest area. In most cases, it's within the area that's encumbered by the 100-year floodplain, and so it's deemed more green space as opposed to developable property, and it is an easement. It's not a fee title taking.
Okay.
Other questions? No, thank you, Mark. Others that wish to address the council on item number 22?
Bob Phelan, 9120 East 41st Street. We've been at this now for about, 2.5 years, I think. I'd like to know where these appraisers get their numbers from. When we originally started this, of course, the plan was that they were just going to walk through, they were going to destroy over $100,000 worth of landscape, and they wanted to give nothing. No compensation whatsoever. That was where it started. Well, I came up with some figures, and they were high figures. It was an attention getter, okay? Now, since that point, we have negotiated down, and we ended up at the point as to where they still intended to do the full open trench dig, and they offered us $11,300 to destroy $100,000 worth of landscape. I can't imagine why I turned that down. Can you? Now what they're doing is they're coming back, and we allowed them to come on and see if they could bore. That was the reason that it went that way, is they asked if they could come on to determine if boring was an option. We let them come on the property. They bored. They determined that boring was an option. And then they came back and said that they had to reappraise the property. And because of the boring, the easement or the compensation was now $2,200. Well, how did the easement get less valuable because it cost you more to do the right thing and to not destroy landscape, habitat, and green space? I just want to let you know that I'm not going to agree, and I would like for you to pass this resolution tonight because it's only going to strengthen my case in court. This will go to jury, and I will tell my story, and that's where I stand. Thank you.
Questions of Paul? Thank you, Paul. Appreciate you coming up. Others that wish to address the council on item number 22? Not? There's a council action.
Move to approve, Costello.
Costello moves. Is there a second?
Second, Brown.
Brown seconds. Further comments on the motion to approve item 22? Go ahead.
Yes, I am going to vote for this tonight, but it is interesting that the fair market value, if you do the trench, is, well, for the easement, to acquire the easement is $11,300, and then to have the easement acquired because you do boring is $2,200 doesn't make sense. It would seem like the easement is the same price whether you bore or you don't bore. But I hope that the city and the landowner can get this resolved so we don't have to go through this condemnation proceeding.
I'd say that this easement is the same. It's changed location, isn't
Dick,
it?
do you want to come up and come up here then?
Does that mean,
Okay.
just correct that. Did you change, the easement location isn't exactly what was here the first time. I didn't mean to interrupt there.
Council, Mr. Mayor, the reason the difference, the first resolution and the location of the easement would have destroyed some trees. So that was it was more, or a higher amount at $11,000 to pay for several trees. Now with the new boring going under, there will be no trees destroyed. So that's why there's a reduction in value. And we didn't come up with the figure of $2,200. That's done by a real estate appraiser. And so he's the one that came up. It's the value of the land before as opposed to the value of the land afterwards. And if you have a sewer underground, like in this case, the question is, does that diminish or reduce the fair market value of the property? Some would say it enhances the value because now you have a sewer service. But I would also like to say that Mr. Palin has been very cooperative with me, and I appreciate that. I know when you have your land condemned, it can be an emotional issue, and he does have nice property, no question, nice trees, and that's why we're spending. We decided to spend more money to try to save those trees too, and that's the factor. I tell you, who's going to decide in the end is a jury, not me, not Mr. Palin, a jury of 12, and they will decide if we can't get it settled. They will make the decision of how much he should have coming.
Dick, will you just identify yourself for the record here?
What's that?
Will you just identify yourself for the record?
Dick Gregerson. I'm representing the city in this matter.
Thank you.
Dick, I'm just curious, and maybe you can't answer this, but I'll give it a shot anyways. Their appraisal, the original appraisal, I assume, was done a couple of years ago, and this appraisal was probably more current. How much of that decrease in value is just a timing issue? I mean, I think there's a lot of real estate, people that own a lot of commercial real estate and residential real estate that would like to have today what they thought their property was worth a couple of years ago, and some of that value has changed.
Well, Councilman Costello, I'm not sure I understand your question.
Well, I think over the last year, certainly real estate values have dropped. And I imagine that the appraisal that we're using now is more current than one that was done some
That's
time
true.
ago, whenever if that was. How much of that decline is attributable to that?
I don't think that the appraiser took that into account at all. It's strictly the damages to the trees that would be now avoided under the boring method. But what we always do when we go to condemnation too, we always update that condemnation because the value of the property, the jury is to determine at the time they're deliberating what the value is. So we will, if it becomes necessary to go to trial, we will update that appraisal. And as of now, the landowner has not obtained an appraisal, so I don't know if he's planning to or not. Now, under the law, he can testify himself as to the value. The landowner has that right.
Mr. Gregerson, does the city just get one appraisal then, when there's a condemnation proceedings like this? Do we just get one on this side of the table? One appraisal, or?
Well, you can have as many as you want, but right now we just have one. A lot of times what may happen, you get the appraisal, you perform the appraisal for the condemning authority. Then the landlord comes in with his own appraisal, and you may say, well, we missed something, okay? And then you may have to, get another appraiser or have the appraiser you previously hired to update it. It's kind of a shifting, and no one knows for sure what the value of the property is. It's not science, it's a judgment call.
Further questions? Okay, thank you. Others that wish to address the council on item number 22? We have a motion been made and seconded to approve item 22. Is there further discussion? I see none, so all in favor of the motion to approve item 22, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilmember Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 22 has been approved 8-0. Item 23.
Item 23 is a resolution authorizing the City of Sioux Falls to gift to Minnehaha County various surplus items.
Gene Roanhorst, Director of Finance. This is a resolution to give to the Minnehaha County Jail some items that were on the been surplused into the auction and have very little value. Work is the judgments that we have of the process, and we would recommend that we go ahead and give this money or give this equipment now to the jail.
Questions of Gene on item number 23. Others that wish to address the council on item number 23? Not, is there a motion to approve?
Move for approval, Benninga.
Benega moves. Is there a second?
Second, Costello.
Costello seconds. Further comments on the motion to approve item 23? Seeing none, all in favor, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilmembers Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 23 has been approved 8-0. Item 24.
Item 24 is a resolution advising and giving consent to the appointment of members to certain citizen boards.
Do you want to just go up, Jill, just quickly? That's just for Sioux Falls Regional Emergency Medical Services.
Jill Franken, Assistant Health Director. This is for Chad Olson to become a member of the REMSA board. He is a current director of the Helpline Center, call center, and has prior experience as well with call center work and being recommended for the REMSA board.
Thanks, Jill. Go ahead.
Yes, Jill, I notice here that for a term from October 2009 to January 2014, is it the term over 5 years, or what is a term on the REMSA board?
I'd have to get you that information. I'm not exactly sure the length of the term.
Okay, it just seemed rather long.
it would be the standard that we would have for terms for that particular board.
Further questions? Thanks, Jill. Others wish to address the council on item number 24? Not? Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve, Brown.
Brown moves. Is there a second?
Second, Benega.
Benega seconds. Further comments? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve item number 24 will vote yes, those opposed no.
Councilmembers Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 24 has been approved 8-0. Item 25.
Item 25 is a resolution establishing the priority order of projects to be constructed in 2010 utilizing the Capital Improvement Program's arterial street expansion, development-driven street projects.
Good evening, Chad Heavey with the Engineering Division of Public Works. The arterial street expansion program has two primary objectives. One is to develop a priority list of projects so that everyone is aware of what arterial streets are going to be expanded in the future. The second is to expand arterial streets with or slightly ahead of the development of the adjoining properties. The administrative procedures for street improvements are outlined in Executive Order 08-38. Recommendations are based at a minimum on the following factors: percent of abutting property owners who signed the petition, the number of residents, businesses, and public facilities served, the existing and future traffic volumes, the number and type of accidents that has occurred, maintenance costs, project costs, funding availability, and the percent of abutting property within city limits and connectivity with the existing street system. The 2009 priority list included 6 projects. There was available funding to construct 3 of those, and the other 3 were designed, and they are currently wrapping up final design, will be ready to bid in early 2010. Currently, there are 31 projects in the arterial street expansion program with an estimated cost of $137 million. This year, we received 7 new petitions for arterial street expansions. The petitions for our arterial street expansions were prioritized by Public Works and Planning. During a CIP committee meeting on Monday, October 5th, a public hearing was held for the arterial street expansion program. The hearing was attended by 40 individuals. The CIP committee approved and recommends the following arterial street expansion projects for construction in 2010, listed in order of priority. Number 1 is the expansion of 69th Street from a gravel road to a full urban section with a railroad overpass from Charger Avenue to Tanner Avenue. Priority 2 is the expansion of the intersection of Southeastern Avenue and 69th Street with a dual-lane roundabout, the expansion of Southeastern Avenue to a full urban section north and south of 69th Street, and the expansion of 69th Street to a full urban section east and west of Southeastern Avenue. The next priority is the expansion of Maple Street from a rural section to an full urban section between Career Avenue and Marion Road. The next priority is the expansion of the intersection of Western Avenue and 69th Street, Western Avenue north and south of 69th Street, and 69th Street east and west of Western Avenue. And during this project, the 4-way stops will be replaced with traffic signals. The next project is the expansion of 41st Street from a rural section to an urban section from Sertoma Avenue to the T. Ellis Road. And priority number 7 is the expansion of the intersection of Western Avenue and 57th Street, the expansion of Western Avenue north and south of 57th Street, and the expansion of 57th Street east and west of Western Avenue. Priorities 1 through 3, like I said earlier, we're on the 2009 priority list and will be ready to bid in early 2010. Design work will begin on priorities 4 through 7 so that they're ready to construct as funding is available. You will see on the document in front of you that the approved 2010 budget for this program is a little over $13 million. And you can see that priorities 1, 2, and 3 are estimated to cost a little over $17 million. Priorities 4 through 7 are estimated to construct or cost a little bit more than $15 million. Now in front of you is the list of every project, all 31 projects that are in the program. And then at the bottom of the sheet, it lists the 7 projects that we have been working on in 2009 and spent a little over $5.9 million. Attached is a map of where we've been and where we are going with the program. And with that, I will attempt to answer any questions you may have.
Questions of Chad?
Yeah, Chad, at the informational, we talked about the first project with the overpass. The total project with the overpass is over $9 million. How much is the overpass going to cost us?
I would say somewhere at this point between $3 to $4 million. There's extensive grading work. The soils in that area are very wet and unstable, and so we don't have the exact figures, but I would say somewhere in that $3 to $4 million.
Also, too, how many trains operate on that track?
I think between 1 and 3 per day.
1 and 3 per day. And also, did we have to pay for the land where we're going to have the overpass?
We have purchased the land east of the tracks on the north side for the overpass and south of 69th Street. Because of the wetlands, I'll talk about the west of the tracks now.
Okay.
On the north side, you have some wetlands that we cannot touch. And on the south is Sioux Falls Christian. So that stretch of the bridge will be a retaining wall that'll support the structure. After we get over the tracks and as we move to the east, it'll be a earthen structure that supports it. So we had to buy a little bit of land on the north side of the road and a little bit of land on the south side.
And we still have some to buy?
I would say the majority of the purchases are complete. We're still, we got to get a couple small H lots and some construction easements, but I don't expect we'll be spending any further money.
So the land we've already purchased, is that part of the $9 million?
That is part of the money we've already spent. That's part of the $5.9 million we've spent this year.
Okay, so for the cost, the project is $9.1 million. So is that part of the 9.1, or is this?
That's money we've already expended. That $9.1 million will be to construct the project.
Okay, so it's actually more than 9.1 million, I guess is what I'm asking.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I guess I've always had a concern about this overpass, 1 to 3 trains a day. Is that very
I'll explain it this
yes,
way.
Okay.
There's many things that come into factor, I guess, with the railroad crossing. First of all, if we were going to go out there right now and build a crossing, an at-grade crossing, we'd probably have to spend $500,000. We'd have to put in the gates, and then we'd have to install a median for a certain amount of distance east and west of that track so that vehicles cannot come up to the arms and go around them. So that's one issue we have with the $500,000 we'd have to spend anyway. So that's really a big safety issue. The next thing, if you look over the lifetime of that bridge, there's going to be a user cost every day for people waiting for that train, whether it's 1, 2, or 3. So over the lifespan of that bridge, it's going to be a tremendous amount of money that we're going to waste with people's time and wasting fuel waiting for trains. Another issue is that we only cross these railroad tracks every mile. And I think it's important for the City of Sioux Falls that when we cross these tracks, we do it right the first time. And you can see what we've done with 57th Street. I've heard nothing but compliments on how that has changed things in that area. Fourth of all, it's a quality of life issue. I've talked to the property owners that live north of the 57th Street overpass. They don't hear the trains. The trains don't have to blow their whistles. And these people, almost to a point they don't even know the tracks are there. So I think, as the trains are coming from the south, they're not going to have to blow their whistles, and they'll go right over. They can continue on, and we'll be crossing them all the time.
And just one other quick question. One area of the city that I think really needs an overpass is at 26 and Southeastern. I mean, it's a disaster when, a train is going there. Does the city have any plans in the future for that area or not?
With the constraints of the bridge, the existing development east of Southeastern Avenue, it's certainly an option, but I think the costs would be astronomical.
But I agree with you on that one. I mean, figure out a way and that's why I think as we do these projects, 69th Street, 57th Street, to do that up front would be a good deal, because I wish we had one there, because that's a difficult assignment there. Further questions of Chad on item number 25? Thanks. Others that wish to address the council on item number 25? Not. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Litz.
Litz moves. Is there a second?
Second, Brown.
Brown seconds. Further comments on the motion to approve? Seeing none, all in favor? Vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilmembers Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello? Yes. Jamison?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Item 25 has been approved 8-0. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Jamison moved and
Brown second.
Brown second. All in favor of that motion? Vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilmembers Anderson?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello? Yes. Jamison?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
We stand adjourned.